super, super hot take, but I don't believe in the concept of the one anymore. And no, it is not because I'm 27 and super jaded. Welcome back to the pod, guys. It's Tia. Welcome back, lovelies. Welcome back, lovelies, or welcome if you're new here to Tea Time with Tia. This is another weird segment of the oldest daughter's public diary or whatever my personal brand is now. But this is every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just kind of all congregate here to talk about my thoughts. I have been in a place of working on the concept of decentering men for a minute now. And I don't mean this in a man-hating way, but like they can't hold that much power over us. And I don't know, I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been watching a lot of my friends now, especially since I'm in my upper 20s, just like watching them go through relationships, get married, have children with men. All of the above, and just kind of really reflecting on the fact that it isn't really, I don't know, it sounds like really bland and dry perhaps to say this, but it's not some cosmic coincidence that you end up with your forever person. It just isn't. Now, I know that there are a lot of really beautiful love stories out there, and like I am the product of one. I think my parents have an incredible story. But at the same time, it's not just something that happens by chance or by mistake even. Love takes work. And the reality is you could put that same love and effort into any person. It's just a matter of if you guys are able to do that thing together and figure it out together. The reality is you could kind of figure it out with anybody if both of you are locked in. But I see a lot of people just saying like, they're waiting for their one. And maybe like in theory, your one is that person that you end up figuring it out with, technically speaking. But I think now at almost 28 years old, I have seen enough people have their missed chances with love, including myself, to where it's like, you could have worked it out with that person if you guys had just hunkered down and figured it out, or if both people were pulling their weight or whatever, or if you gave that person a chance. And I think it's really, really interesting when you stop and look back. Like, I think the older that you get, the more perspective you get on that. Because even like my parents have mentioned other people from their past, not saying like they're like reminiscing and wishing they got with those people, but like they've mentioned like other people that were like in their past that they, had considered going for, or that it didn't work out for a variety of circumstances. And then they talk about each other, and the way they talk about each other is so different, not just because they've been married for almost 30 years, but because they both locked in and were like, okay, this is it, and this is going to be it, specifically this with this person, and we will do whatever it takes to stay together, make it happen, etc. And so on that note, if it didn't work out with that one person that you thought was it or was the one, and maybe like, life circumstances and both of you couldn't lock in, it's okay, because you can't really lose the one if you haven't found that person to lock in with yet. And I mean both of you have to be locked in. And I say that as someone who is obviously, I'm not married, I'm not in a relationship right now, but I have so many people to like observe and look at around me. My friends who are married now happily, my friends who are married with kids, or people who are raising kids without their partner for different reasons, or like my parents or older couples that have been married for over 20 years that have figured it out. When I look around at all of that, I can see what love is and what love is not. And obviously not everyone that just stays married has a good marriage either, right? You could still be locked in with somebody but not be emotionally there, right? It goes back to the whole thing of love ultimately takes intentionality. No matter who it's with and no matter where you guys find each other, it does not take away from the fact that you have to be able to ask yourself, do I want to do life with that person? Not, is this who like the universe dropped into my life, or that God just brought across my path, whatever statement you want to throw in there. Because it's really easy to make one of those statements instead of actually putting in the practical application of intentionality. I think a lot of us miss our love stories or what could have been better because we either were okay with someone else not locking in, or we were okay with mediocre effort. Could be on both ends. We all are flawed human beings, and you're never going to find a perfect person. And we all know that. I think it's really cliche to say you're never going to find a perfect person, but it's so true. You end up deciding if long-term companionship, marriage, partnership is in your future, you are going to be ultimately making a decision to join your life, a flawed human life on its own, with another flawed human's life in existence. And you have to figure out how to make that work. That does not happen by chance at all. Like I've been saying, it takes intentionality. And are my parents perfect? I keep going back to them because that's like the closest like long-term example that I have that's a really good one. They're not perfect by any means. And honestly, I will say when I was young, I really wanted them to get divorced because they were not emotionally meeting in the middle at all. And it just seemed like they just needed to split up instead of figuring it out. Oh my gosh, my cat just walked into frame. Hi. Do you wanna, Milo, come here. Okay. Whoa. Come here, baby. You wanna come here? That's probably gonna get cut out, but my cat just literally walked into frame and then immediately springboarded off of my lap while I was getting all deep and philosophical. Here's Milo, everybody. It is Milo's first time being on the podcast. Anything you wanna say, son? Come here. This is my parents' grand cat. The cat they said they didn't want, but they are his biggest fans. Okay. You know what? He's gonna be here. Making biscuits apparently. Wow, okay, I just lost my entire train of thought. Oh, my parents, duh. So I used to really want them to get divorced because they weren't emotionally meeting in the middle. They were very good with like logistics and planning and oh my gosh. They were really good at figuring out like the seemingly surface level practical aspects of life, but they weren't meeting in the middle emotionally. And fast forward to now, probably about 20 years after I really wanted them to split up, because of all of the chaos in our home, they are more in love than they ever were, I think. And it's because they were able to take a step back together as a couple and understand where their gaps were in their relationship and then figure out how to make this still be the one relationship that they stuck with. It's not a thing of I picked the right person, therefore everything will be okay. More so the thing of I opted in to do life with this person, and how do I make it so things continue to work out for us? Might not be perfect, but how do I continue to choose this person daily? It sounds super cliche, and obviously I'm no marriage expert. Again, I'm single, super single, but I don't know. I find myself reflecting on that differently now that I'm older. And maybe because I've had some space away from like concrete relationships for a while, it just makes more sense now. My vision isn't as clouded. Therapy also helps. Shout out to my therapist and everything. But yeah, and shout out to all of the really cool people that have showed me, just allowed me to get a glimpse of what their relationships are and what they should and shouldn't be. Thank you to my parents for being honest with me about the gaps in their lives. Relationships are beautiful and messy and ugly and wonderful and complex and all the things because humans are in those. We bring all kinds of weird complexities with us as people, and a relationship doesn't make that go away. If anything, a relationship like a long-term companionship only reveals all of those things, maybe even amplifies them. That might be the safer thing to say. Because when you are trying to join your life with another person, whether if that is temporarily or long term, there's going to be some clashing somewhere in there, inevitably. And the concept of the one just kind of leaves out the fact that you will have some puzzle pieces to sort out. They may not all fit perfectly. You're going to have to figure out how to sometimes cut corners so you guys can join lives together or figure out companionship of whatever duration of time. And I don't know. I think honestly, in closing, the concept of the one puts so much pressure on every single one of us, because then it comes down to, did I pick the right person? And in another way, it maybe takes responsibility off of us as well, because then we are putting all of the weight of the relationship onto whoever it is that we get with, and not asking ourselves, am I somebody that should be in a relationship? Am I somebody who is unselfish, who can be a good companion, who can care for someone else? And so let's take some of the pressure off of ourselves in choosing people. And let's also stop looking at everybody else under a microscope without ever once looking at ourselves. I think there's room for all of those elements to coexist. I think, yes, you need to vet character. You need to pay attention to who you're dating, obviously, and getting with. And also don't make that an excuse to take your eyes off of yourself. Not in a sense of you have to put so much insane pressure on yourself, but as much as you want to see them improve, I hope that you want to see yourself grow as a person too. And again, it's not about if you picked the perfect person. It's about, have you picked somebody that you know you can evolve with and figure out life's journey with together? It sounds really simple and complicated at the same time. I don't know. I feel like that is the basic formula for companionship at this point in time. Future me is probably going to look back on this video and be like, well, she tried. Hopefully that future me is in a good long-term companionship at that point, but I think that's all my thoughts for right now. Future companion, if you're out there, I hope I did a good job explaining that. Hopefully it made sense to everybody, the greater audience watching this. I am not good with relationship advice, but I am the people's older sister online, so this was my attempt at that. If this sucked, tell me. I will not do a relationship video again. I don't know why I went from philosophically deep to super unserious. Okay, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I'm just gonna land the plane. We will all figure it out eventually. There is no perfect formula, really, for how to navigate everything with a person, but just know, you will figure it out. It is that serious and it is not that serious at the same time. We are on a floating rock. So, and the sun might hit us or something else might hit us. Anyway, I'm just going to shut up now. I hope you guys have a great night, day, whatever. Okay, I'm done. Don't forget to go touch some grass, talk to real people. Social media is fake. I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye, guys.